Recording. All right, so this is, what is it, November 28th, and this is just our Team Liberate call about our takeaways from the GoPro event 2 weeks, and a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Joe and Erin and I will share some of our takeaways. Sarah couldn't make it. She's not feeling well, but I asked her to maybe go live or something the next couple of days to kind of share her takeaways, because I wanted to hear from her, especially because this was her first live event. So I thought she could lend some wisdom, upon people who maybe haven't been, Super Saturday is great, but really going to a 2, 3, 4 day event with some of the team is, I think it's totally life-changing, but I think it really is. So I'd be really curious to hear her takeaways. So Erin and Joe and I will share some of the things that we took away from the weekend. And Joe, I was going to have you start.
At me start?
I know you have a lot to say. Well, I know you probably have.
What makes you think I have a lot to say?
Well, I don't know.
All right. So anyway, this was the second time I went to this event.
That's the other thing.
I'm sorry?
So that's the other thing too. You kind of have two experiences with it.
Yeah, I took a chance last year. I wasn't super new to coaching. I'd been coaching for a year, but I was still a little nervous to go on this trip because there was still a lot of coaches on Team Boom that I didn't and hadn't really met and stuff like that. So that other than Summit, when you get to meet people for like 2 seconds. But this event is like completely different. It's like some serious hang time with the same people, which is really cool. So I went last year. It was really life-changing, especially the Tony Robbins event. It was a little different this year, but last year he had switched it up a little bit. So, in terms of, Beachbody is part of network marketing, and this is a network marketing conference. But I think what we do is kind of different. But you can take a lot of energy and a lot of points that all the different speakers throw out there and turn them into your own for this business. So I took a ton of notes this time. And I pretty much have at least one takeaway from every speaker, but I'll spare you guys some of them. So I'll only hit the top ones. So let's see. The first thing is, the speaker's name was Gloria Mayfield Banks. The thing I took away from her most is about attitude. And what she said was success is in the knowing this industry works. So I want to dissect that for a second. We all know network marketing works. It's a legitimate business. And the only way you're going to fail at it is if you quit. So it is inevitable that you will succeed. And obviously it's based on the speed of your success is based on, the energy you bring and the effort you bring. But success is inevitable unless you quit. So, one of the things that she mentioned was, success is in the knowing the industry works. Work it with a smile and question yourself. What attitude are you bringing? What gifts do you bring? And do so unapologetically. A lot of times we're sitting here and we're inviting people and we almost feel bad, like we're bothering them. We're actually bringing them the opportunity for a gift, whether it's to join our challenge group and get the amazing health benefits from our workout programs, our nutrition plan, our one-on-one mentoring, Shakeology. That's a gift. And we should never back down or be apologetic about offering that to somebody. And same thing with a coaching opportunity. Who here is not glad they're a coach? I don't see any hands. Okay, so how would you feel if you never got invited? Okay, so yeah, there are going to be some people who are going to be annoyed and I forget who it was. Might have been, I don't even know who it was, but one of y'all posted in the group the other day about, or maybe it was a different group. I have no idea. But somebody was just like, it was like a repeated thing, and she was doing her job, like following up every few days or every week or whatever. Person never responded. All of a sudden, the person's like, I'm not interested. Stop messaging me. Okay, well, you know what? That person's not your people. Okay, if they're going to be rude like that, if they're going to be somebody like that, then unfriend them and be done with it. Because you're doing them a favor, apparently, by, keeping quiet and not doing, what you were supposed to do. And this is not part of GoPro, but it just reminds me of a point. I want to say it was Anita Myron, or I forget who it was. But anyway, we do this on social media. Social media is intended to be social. So, again, bring your gifts to people unapologetically. Point number 2. This is Eric Worre. His model for success. And these are some questions to ask yourselves. Are you playing to win? That's the first question you ask yourself. Are you playing to win? The next question is, how can you do better? And the third question is, what has to change? So we all fall into a rut. We all get discouraged. We all get frustrated. But ground yourself by asking yourself these questions. So like, it's the 28th and I have no Success Club points. Okay, well, think back. Did you play this month to win? Like, seriously. Okay, if the answer is yes, then you shouldn't have 0 Success Club points. But if the answer is no, then go to second question. How can you do better? Maybe honor your office hours. Show up every day. And what has to change? Okay, maybe I stop watching this show, or maybe I reverse a few things and hit, the most important tasks on my list first. Kind of eat that frog. Okay. Brendan Bouchard is next. I'll take 1 point from him. This is a good one. Personal development. Be honest. Who's hitting personal development every day? Who's getting at least 30 minutes in? Okay. I see Liz shaking her head. You're being honest. Who's not doing it? Liz? Who else?
I'm doing it, but not 30 minutes a day every day.
Mm-hmm.
Either 30 minutes of audio or 10 pages a day or whatever. Just try, it doesn't have to be exact. Just try to stay consistent with personal development so that you're challenging your mind. Decide how much you need. Maybe you only need 5 minutes a day, and that's
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I was listening to something. I can't even, all these calls and stuff mesh together. It was was it Melanie Mitra? It was somebody who made a really good point. I wrote it down somewhere. They said, listen to personal development until it hits you. Like, until something hits you. Like, that's when you should stop listening. When something hits you and you can, like, something like a light bulb goes off and you can, like, take away something, and, like, that's what your post could be about. So, like, don't set, so that's kind of what I've been doing. Like, if you listen for 5 minutes and you have this, like, big, awesome revelation, then, like, stop it and run with it and post about that, or, shout out somebody about whatever. But if it takes you 30 or 40 minutes, then that's what it is some days.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't need 10 points that day. You don't need like 10 amazing points from whatever book you're reading. But you do need to continue to infuse your mind with that energy. Otherwise, there are going to be days where you come home and you're just tired and you're not going to want to work. So Brendan's point was, is your growth scheduled? And basically, like, make sure you're planning your growth. And that goes with not just doing personal development, putting in the time, but are you doing the right personal development? Like, again, like something like Girl Code would do nothing for me. But something like Eat That Frog does a lot for me. The 5-second rule has done a lot for me. Unbleep yourself has done a lot for me. So try to make sure you're questioning, what do I need today? It doesn't have to be like motivational or anything like that. Like, I need to do the like page training. So I'm like sludging along, redoing the like page training for the 14th time. Half a video here, half a video there. But, and I'll be honest, I can't stand it. Especially where I'm repeating the same videos over and over again, because I just can't even get beyond module 3. But anyway, you got to understand what you need to do. I need to somehow fix my like page. I don't know what's up with it, but I just need to fix it. I need to get it moving. I need to stop posting on my personal page. So that's personal development for me. So the quote that Brendan came up with was, if you leave your growth to randomness, you will always live in mediocrity. So just think about that one. I'm getting close. Increase productivity. And this one's not that. Well, let's get that one. All right. Tony Robbins. I'm sure a lot of people bring up Tony Robbins, so I only got one. I'll bring up one from him. So Tony brought up a very good point, and Tony's all about mindset. He believes that our minds are what control our destiny, and I believe it too. And one of the stories he brought up was, what he said was basically focus on where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. And the story he brought up was that he was actually doing some like race car test driving or something like that with a friend of his, and where he was in the driver's seat of a race car, and they were going super fast, and he was at first like very scared to do it, whatever. And the way this race car thing worked was that they had the ability to raise one of the 4 tires, and that would cause the car to go into a spin. So the driver raised one of the 4 tires, they went into a spin, and instantly Tony started to look at the wall he was about to crash into. But the driver pushed his head and kept his hand right on his head and wouldn't let him look at that wall, and instead was pushing him towards the middle, which didn't have a wall. And at the end of it, they swerved, and he was looking where he wanted to go, which is away from the wall, and not where he didn't want to go, which was the wall, and they ended up avoiding the wall. So how does that translate to real life? Well, basically, don't look at failure. Look at where you want to go and where you want to succeed. If you want to, where do you want to bring this business? Don't dwell on where we are today, whether you're a new coach, whether you're struggling. Focus on where you want to go. So if you want to be a 15-star diamond, you want to be an elite coach, focus on that. And one more point. And this came from Pitbull, someone I didn't really know too much about, but coming out of that conference, I absolutely love the guy. And he had a ton of different points. But one of the ones that I like that he said was, the biggest risk you take is not taking a risk. So, I mean, this isn't life and death what we do here. But we all took a risk to our personal status in our previous societies. I mean, for me, becoming a coach, there are lots of friends who I don't talk to that much anymore. They don't like seeing positive stuff come out of me for whatever reason. I mean, obviously I'm spinning it in my way. They might have some different opinions on, what I've done as a coach or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It was a risk to become a coach, to throw myself out there, to share my story. But the bottom line is I know I'm helping way more people than I was before. And to be quite honest, if people are going to, drop me because of that, then like I said at the beginning, they're not my people. So those are my takeaways from this. I mean, I had a ton more, but I'll turn it over to someone else to talk now.
Thanks, Joe. I knew you'd have a bunch of awesome things to share. That's why I had you go first.
I have more if you need it.
What?
I have more if you need it.
I know.
It was a great conference, honestly. So, if you have the opportunity to do it, I urge you guys to do it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Erin, do you want to share?
Sure thing. Okay. So it was really incredible. Just the whole thing. These live events in general are
Sorry, I muted you by accident. I meant to mute Joe. I muted you by accident.
One of my well, I'll start with one of the Tony Robbins takeaways that I had was all about energy and what a huge difference that makes. A lot of us will have a lack of energy, and people will actually respond to the energy. As an introvert, you can even present yourself a little bit better. Your posture, your tone of voice, how loud you speak, eye contact. Just there's like a million different exercises he made us do, and it was awesome because it made you realize just how you talk to people, the words you use, the tone of your voice, everything actually matters. And I know we're all doing this online, and that's really hard. But maybe if you do like a live Zoom call with a prospective challenger, anything like that, just how you hold yourself. It's so important. And then another mistake he says that we make is expecting things too quickly. I know that it is really hard for me to stay patient. I want to be doing really well. I feel like I'm treading water a lot of the times. I'm not getting where I want to be. But it's gonna take time. So he likened it to a toddler learning how to walk. Like, unless there's a developmental disability or something big like that, like a kid will learn to walk. Like, no matter how many times they fall down, you're not just gonna be like, I guess you're not gonna get this. Move on, next thing. They're gonna learn. So those were two takeaways that I had from Tony Robbins. I could talk for like 5 hours about him because he was so incredible. But what I also wanted to talk about was talking from Team Boom and the Fit Crew is Carrie Steelman-Schmidt. If you guys know her, she has like the braids, colorful braids. You see her on team calls and stuff. So I got to chat with her, which was really awesome because I always had this kind of coach crush on her, watching her. She's so incredible. Never thought that I was like, oh, I get to talk to you. And it was like probably like 2 a.m. We were out way too late. I had a few drinks. So I'm piecing this all together for you guys. But it was one of the best conversations that I've really had with her. And I had kind of an aha moment. So basically my challenge groups really need to be targeted towards my audience. Like, I know we know that, but what does my audience really need was kind of what we were missing. So the added thing that I did to this past challenge group was a plank challenge. So we added planks, which was really fun. People kind of liked it. Got a lot of likes and comments at the beginning. But nope, wasn't selling a lot of stuff, and nobody was kind of biting at it. And I was talking to her, I was telling her about it. I was asking, how do you make your challenge group so successful? How do you get these people? And she's like, well, tell me about what you're doing. And I told her I was doing a plank challenge. She's like, who are you targeting? And I said, well, moms. She's like, do moms really want one more thing to do right now, this time of year? And I was kind of like, oh yeah, no, they don't. Like, this kind of sucks in their mind. Like, why would I want to lay on the ground for 30 seconds and work my muscles? So basically she's saying, like, you have to look at your wording. The wording is going to turn people off. So since then, since I wasn't getting real good response around that, I changed it. And right away, I changed it to being like, do you moms need more energy? Do you need more time? Like, and so basically I'm like giving them something. And right away I sold a challenge pack. And right away people started like talking to me a little bit more about it, like taking a little bit more of an interest because I was offering them something. So yeah, that was really, really cool. So each challenge group can be specific to that person. So they won't remember what you were going to call it. Like if you're going to call it Burn for the Bird or whatever in your invite, like, and it's not that anymore. They're not going to remember. They're going to remember you. So find out what they need, and even in like their Zoom calls with them when you set them up, just figure out what they need. So, and then she also talked about breaking your challenge group down by week, which I haven't done yet, to make so it's not too monotonous. So like week 1, focus on nutrition. Week 2, focus on, attitude. Week 3, focus on XYZ, which I haven't done yet. So I just wanted to try that next month and see how that turned out. So it was just those kind of priceless bits of information that I got from her late night that really was priceless. Like the whole event in itself was priceless. Like it was phenomenal. I've learned so much, but I never would have had these conversations anywhere else. So it was pretty phenomenal. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Okay. So I'll just share a couple of things that Erin and Joe didn't hit on that kind of spoke to me. And then we'll just wrap it up. So kind of like how Erin was saying, it's crazy because you're going to this network marketing event, but I think for most people, a majority of the takeaways are things that you don't necessarily learn like in the training, like, with the specific trainers. It's like the things and I remember like when I first started coaching, the higher up coaches that I looked up to, like Caroline Nathan and Michelle Phillips, they would say all these things and I'd be like, oh, one day. And now I see it for myself that it's the truth. It's like the side conversations you have, like Joe has a story with Wendy Jo Spencer, in line last year for an hour and a half in Starbucks. Now he and her have this awesome relationship, and she's actually the person who gave him a kick in the ass to get to Diamond, and and now he's so happy about it. So it's just, these like side things, Erin's talking to Kerry at like 3 a.m., like 6 drinks deep.
Which I did in 6 hours after that conversation.
What, Joe?
Which I did in less than 6 hours after our conversation wrapped up.
Like those are things that you can't get anywhere else. Those are things you can't get by talking to somebody online, and then you kind of create those relationships, and that kind of follows you home. Like, ever since the retreat in September, now I have like Marie Sardelli's phone number, and, I text with her sometimes, and that would have never happened if we didn't originally have that connection at that retreat. You know what I mean? So that's why another reason why live events are so important, because this is an online business. We are working for ourselves, by ourselves majority of the time. So when you do have the opportunity to be live with the team and, be in the flesh and see all these people and be surrounded, like the energy that you just can't get through the computer is priceless. So, and this event was different. This was my first non-Beachbody network marketing event. And it was very different from Summit. Summit's all I really have, and, smaller retreats like the one in September to kind of compare it to. And it was different, but it was really, really cool. And I'm really glad that I went. So, looking specifically at the actual event, the conferences, I have a lot of the same takeaways that Erin and Joe had already shared, but Eric Worre, it was, and that's the other thing, kind of seeing these and hearing from these presenters kind of in person, like Eric Worre, like he's right there. That's so cool. It's just really cool. For those of you who don't know, he's the one who wrote the Go Pro network marketing book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's a short one. It's a small book. Definitely read it. But he talked a lot about leading, and, leading is speaking to me these days more so because, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to lead by example. And that's exactly what he said. You want to learn to duplicate the things that you're doing. You want to lead by example. So what you're doing, your team is going to see you doing that, and then they're going to duplicate that. So what you want your team to duplicate, you need to be showing them what to do. And so that kind of spoke to me. And really, honestly, if you caught my live video earlier, being a leader starts, before you even have your first coach. You need to act like the leader that you want to be, even if you don't have anybody to necessarily lead yet. And that was a turning point in my business, because I would kind of just put off Super Saturday because I had nobody to go with. I had no reason to show up for it. Like, nobody cared if I was going to be there or not. And, I didn't really listen to the national wake-up calls. I wasn't doing PD. But when I started getting consistent with those things, that's when my business changed. My mindset changed. My focus changed. My, my passion was just more evident, and it just changed. So, even if you don't have a personally sponsored business builder yet, you just want to act like you do, because it's going to happen. Just keep showing up and keep doing it. Keep putting in the work. He also talked about it, because I have zero patience, but I preach consistency and patience in this business. Easier said than done, but I really liked how he said it takes 1 year to be competent in this business, but that's 1 year of hard, dedicated, consistent work. That's not a year of dip your toe in and go on vacation for a week and, try it again for a month and leave for another week. You have to be consistent. You just have to be. So after a year of that, an entire year of feeling like you are all in, it takes 1 year to become competent in a network marketing business, 3 years to make a significant income after diligent work. So 3 years after, Pat always talks about your starting date and your all-in date. Those are two separate things. The date that you signed up and the date that you decided that it's like, this is your plan A and you're running with it, that it's totally different. So 1 year from that date, 3 years from that date, and then 5 years to be a significant income earner. So that was just kind of eye-opening and a good reminder that I think we go into this, we know it's not a get-rich-quick thing, but we still want it anyway. We still want it to be quick. We still want, and even if it's not necessarily about the money for you, you just want success. You want to, because it's not all about rank, it's not all about Success Club, but that stuff feels good, So you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to really reflect, like, am I truly doing everything I possibly can? Has my all-in date started, or am I still kind of tiptoeing? Then there was the women's panel. I know there's a whole women's event dedicated to this that I know Annie and Ashley Feldyson went to last year. And just by getting and I was even late to the women's panel, but just being there for the part of it that I did listen to or hear was really great to hear, because, a lot of they're women, a lot of them are moms, and they, again, things that I already kind of knew, but hearing it again and hearing a different perspective and hearing from different people, it kind of just resonates with you differently each time. They talked about being proud of what you're doing and not feeling bad. Leading up to going here, I'm stressing. I stress anyway, get anxiety anyway, but as a mom, you start thinking, like, is this worth it? Am I making the right, and I'm sure Joe feels the same way as a dad, like, am I making the right decision? Should I be leaving my kids and my wife or my spouse? What if they need me? What if they get sick? What if I forget to do this? And, and I'm doing the laundry and I'm getting the meal prep and I'm typing notes for my mom. And you just feel like, is this really even worth it? And it is. They are there to remind you that everything you're doing it for your kids. Don't use your kids as an excuse. And I tell this to my challengers, in terms of your health, don't use your kids as an excuse to not do something. Use them as a motivator to do it. So she said, yeah, when my kids were younger, I had to leave for a weekend or even 1 or 2 weeks at a time. But because she did that, they now have a much different life than they may have had otherwise if she didn't. And, and there's, especially when they're younger, they don't remember that, but they do remember the mom now that has extra time to be with them, or, can provide, I think she gave an example, like going to a private school or going on different vacations that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to go on if she didn't move forward with, her business and what she wanted to do, and use her kids as a motivation. So that was just kind of nice to hear. And then Tony Robbins, of course, you know, he was awesome. His energy is just, you have to be there to just kind of feel his energy. But he said a couple of things. Let your identity and your energy separate you from others, you know, because they were always thinking there's 450,000 coaches, although I think that number has gone down. But, you know, what separates you? I have it on a Post-it on my desk. What sets me apart from other coaches? Because there's a lot of other coaches out there. So, like, what are you offering? What are you doing? How are you coming across to people that makes you different from everybody else? And so just hearing him say that just kind of made me stop and, you know, think about that a little bit more. And something I'm still working on. And then he also talked a little bit about fear and, you know, focusing on what you want, always remembering your why. That's why it's important to have that emotional connection to your why, because having that emotional connection to your why is going to keep you showing up day in and day out, even when you're nervous, even when you're not doing well, even when you don't feel like it, when it's not convenient, you're just going to do it. Like you have to have that emotional connection and let that drive you rather than your fear. You know, we all have fear. It's totally normal. I think it would be strange if nobody had fear about this business. But like Joe said, you know, don't have fear that you're bothering them. Have fear if you don't give them the opportunity that somebody gave you. Like I texted Annie, I think it was this morning. I texted Annie this morning I texted her because I said it felt really amazing to hear Erica and Joe's names on the National Wake Up Call. You know, and it just like, for me, it's been a revelation since the two of them hit diamond. It's just like, it makes me feel so good to know that and I'm not tooting my own horn here because you guys are going to be in the same position one day, but it just makes me feel good to know that I've changed their lives. And then the rest of you, your lives have changed because of them too, you know, like, and then I thanked Annie. I was like, my life changed because of you. And so I don't know. It's just, you know, you have to say fuck fear, and it's just, you just got to do it. So that's it. Do you guys have any questions? You can unmute yourself. In general, it was a great event. I definitely recommend going if you can, but in general, live events are where it's at. If nothing else, they're just really fun. And you get to meet, we have a really cool team. I mean, I know you guys know that, but when you see people in person, it's like, wow, this team fucking rocks. Like, we're fun, and everybody's just so, I don't know, just so nice and so like open to chatting with you, even when you don't even know who they are. And the whole time you're just like, oh, I know you, but we've never met before, but I know you from online. It's so fun. And,
yeah. You know, everyone's really genuine, and they do want to help. Yeah. I mean, Erin, you bring up Carrie. She has no vested interest in your success. Yeah. I mean, in terms of, it's not like Brooke has a vested interest in your success. I mean, not that that's why she helps you, but Carrie doesn't. I mean, she could just blow you off because it's not worth her time. She doesn't, because she's a genuine person. Same thing with Wendy and me. I mean, she's spent so much time with me over the last couple of years. It's like ridiculous. But it's because they're genuine people. And Wendy's not even part of our team. That's the funny part of that story. She's not even on Team Boom. She's just very friendly with Pat, and so she always goes to that event. She's a Tony Robbins like groupie, I guess, for lack of a better term. But what I would just say is that when you go to live events, you feel a part of the team. And one of the things that I think this was mentioned by multiple people is that you will quit on yourself I said that a lot quicker than you will quit on a team.
Yeah, somebody said, I think it was Eric Worre, he said, like, introduce people to other people as soon as possible, because people are much more likely to quit when they're doing it alone rather than when they're doing it with somebody else. Like, if I were to, I would never, ever leave, but I really never think about it now because I have all of you guys, you know, and I have my success partners that I'd have serious FOMO if I left.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, if you have a coach or a discount coach or a challenger that's kind of fallen off, I mean, they're just going to quit because they're feeling like they're doing it alone. But if you're sitting there and you're coaching them, you know, then they have to quit on you. And then if you're introducing them to other challengers or other coaches, I mean, at this point right now, I'd have to quit on myself. I'd have to quit on all of you. I'd have to quit on Brooke. I'd have to quit on Annie. I'd have to quit on Pat. I'd have to quit on my coaches. There's so many people that I would have to let down that it just ain't happening. So you can keep giving me that Brooke look. So, but the other theme about it, and this is switching gears a little bit, is, and Brooke, you just mentioned it, is providing value. And that is the key. Like, don't go into this like you have to sell something. You're hunting somebody. Don't be the hunter. Like, be the what was it? The gatherer or the agriculturist. I don't even know how it went. But the bottom line is work to create a relationship with someone and find out if they have a need that you can fill.
Right. It's all in that mindset. Because if you're feeling like inviting is like salesy or sleazy or yucky, it's because you have that mindset that you're bothering them, or you're being salesy. But and it takes time. It takes time to kind of get to that place. But when you truly feel like you're just like, I feel like when I reach out to people, I'm just trying to make more mom friends.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, it's going to make you feel good.
Yeah.
It's just going to make you feel good. I don't know if you guys saw on my post that I did today, but I had this guy, Jesse, post his before and afters, gave me like a huge recommendation and everything like that. If you read it, you're like, oh my God, Joe's helped this guy lose a shit ton of weight. I haven't done anything for this guy. He's not even a customer of mine. Honestly, go to my page today, look at that post, and look at like 3-4 different things. He's like telling people, listen to this guy, listen to his stories, and you think that he's like,
why isn't he a coach on our team?
Brother. It's exactly. It's like, this guy lost most of his weight before he even met me, and I've just been sharing my story with him on the side, talking to him, becoming friends with him, and encouraging him and stuff like that. At the end of the day, my advice to him, dude, you're kicking ass. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you want to try a challenge group with me and work out at home so you don't have to pay the gym fees, then that's fine. But what you're doing is working. Just keep going. And he just comes to me with questions and stuff like that, and I just answer it when I have time. I don't spend a ton of time with him, but he's loving it because I'm giving him free value. So, and it's coming around because anyone who goes to that post or whatever and is like stalking me for the day and looks at that post, they're like, holy shit, this, like, Joe just like had this guy lose like 150 pounds. He's literally gone from like 400 pounds to like 265. And I haven't done a damn thing for him, really. Except for giving him some motivation over like the last 2 months. So, so I have a share of the last like 5 pounds he's lost. But I'm providing him free value, and it's developing a relationship. And who knows, maybe he'll sign up with me one day. Maybe he won't, But right now he's having success doing something. I always tell people, push-up's a push-up, whether you do it by yourself at a gym or if you do it in front of Tony Horton. The key is, I think we do have a better way because we offer the total package. We offer the workouts. We offer Shakeology, which is, unmatched. And we offer ourselves, which is also unmatched. That's it. Oh, the other thing too is watch the recording of tonight's Team Boom call if you weren't on it. Mm-hmm. Because there were a lot of nuggets in there about providing value in your challenge groups.
She's really cool too. I like her energy and her vibe.
So, and Meredith and I know we did this in our challenge group. And we've been between Dave, Rob, myself, and Meredith, we go live every single day.
I love it. I see it every day.
Like maybe one out of every 100 days is like a solid post, but we're going live like every single day for our accountability post, and our challengers are loving it. We've got like a core of like 20, 25 people who are posting every single day. I mean, we do have our stalkers, probably, there's like 20 or so people who don't post, and half of those are coaches who are in there just because, they need a house for some men that they may sign up. But actually it's probably all of you guys.
Here, Joe, can you please help me in my mail calendar?
Yes. Well, being a guy in a challenge group filled with 40 women, I know the struggle is real. So I'm there to help my bros out.
It's actually helping your gals out. Help your gals help their friends.
Everybody out. Again, it's all about value.
All right, I'm going to close up shop because I know it's getting late for some people. So if you have any questions or anything else to share, feel free to chime in the group or in the chat. I will get this uploaded and posted in the group as soon as possible. Okay, I really appreciate you guys hopping on. It means a lot. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night.
All right, bye.
I took a picture, so don't be surprised if you get tagged. Yeah, I did take a picture. Okay, bye.